Well, hello and welcome to another beautiful day at our summit, Balanced Body, Peaceful Mind. And we have Donna King today. She's my motivation. So she's a very motivational speaker for women across the world. So she's a legacy wellness coach. She's helping women in the last third of life strengthen their mind, body, and spirit. Because your legacy depends on how you live today. So, with the decades of experience as a nonprofit leader, wellness advocate, and a whole food coach, Donna empowers women to reclaim energy, reset mindset, and live in their next chapter with purpose. Based in Kauai, which is my dream place, and working globally, she encourages women to stop waiting for someday and prioritize their wellness now. No gimmicks, no diets, just aligned action. Hello and welcome, Donna.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm enjoying being here. It's fun.
Glad to have you here. So I'm very excited to have you on our summit. So what inspired you to focus on helping women in the last third of life, and how did your own journey shape your mission as a legacy wellness coach?
Yeah, see, it's interesting because it didn't start with like this big aha moment, right? It wasn't like, oh, this is what I want to do and I'm going to turn everything I do. But I was already working with midlife women and they're like 40s and up and kind of like about where they are, making them feel good in their own skin, which by the way is my mission in life, to have all women feel good in their own skin. Um, and I just wanted to make sure that they were physically, emotionally, energetically, just where they needed to be. And I love that work. But then I was invited to speak to a local women's group on island. And so I sat back and thought about, okay, who are these women and what would they want to hear from me? And so I looked at them and they're like mostly 60s, 70s and up, so a little bit different than the normal 45 and up group that I was dealing with.
Mhm.
And you know what? Here we are. They're in their last third of the life, right? What can they do? What can they want to do? What don't go sit down. So when I started speaking with them and went to them, it's like, these women, they're strong, they're smart, these are seasoned women, and they really have so much to give. So I was like, okay, what matters to them? What do they want to hear about in this part of their life? And so sat and I, kind of meditated on it. And what is this? And so that question, though, it opened up something in me that I didn't expect, right? Because here's the thing, this last third of our lives is full of possibility, right? It's no one really prepares you for this part. There's no roadmap, and you've spent decades doing all the things. You're raising your families, building careers, caregiving. I mean, you spent your life making magic out of thin air, right? Because you're just constantly in motion. And then one day you look up and you're like, okay, now what? What's going on here? What do I do? So, and that question is what lit a fire in me. Because I saw how easy it is for women to feel lost at this stage. They don't know what to do. They don't know, how to do it. They don't know if they have permission to do it. So this came from that because I had been there too. I didn't always feel strong or aligned, any of that. I had to do my own deep work about food, body image. As you age, your body changes so drastically, and you have to rethink, okay, I don't look 20 anymore. Nothing on your body looks 20 anymore. You can be in really great shape, but it doesn't look like you were when you were 20, right? And that's a big thing for women because we're told throughout our lives, make sure you look good. You got to have the right look, the right hair, the right makeup, the right body, the right clothes. And so we don't always have that when you get to that age. And so it started, digging into it a little bit more and found that I don't want women to have like this slow fade into death, but I want them to have this last third as a bold, intentional chapter. This is the good one. This is what we've been waiting for. We've done all this other stuff for everybody else to get here. And now it's your time, let's do something great and bold. And you have to make sure that you have, the right energy, the right confidence in yourself, which a lot of women don't have. And know how to set boundaries. No is a complete sentence. We need to remember that sometimes. So I went into, how do we want to feel in this next season? What kind of ripple do we want to create? What kind of legacy are we living now and not just leaving behind? And that's when it clicked that women in this phase don't need more noise. They need the truth, and they need they need to, to be clear and really strong in what it is. And they know how to set boundaries, and finally put themselves back at the center of their story. That's the big thing right there. That's probably the whole crux of it all, But we're not, because we're not here to become invisible. We're here to get louder in our truth, softer in our self-talk, that little voice that goes around in your head that tells you you're too old, you're too this, you're too that, and get bolder in our joy, accept it when it comes to us and create it when it doesn't come. So my coaching blends like a mindset work, whole food nutrition, energy practices, and a deep self-reflection. It's not a surface level grow up. It's not just, okay, let's lose 10 pounds and then we're all set. That's not what this is about. This is a mind, body, spirit change, and I'll get them in alignment. And so when you get all that, you can get more, you're more in line and you're more ready to accept what's coming. Because legacy, it's not just about what we leave behind. It's about how we live every day with intention, with vitality, with alignment. And that's the work, And honestly, it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. This has like really lit me up. I am so passionate about this. So I just want women to go to, like, my overarching thing is women to feel good in their own skin. And now it's like even deeper, I've gone into it, is like, okay, let's help women in the last third. This is so important. And it's me too. I'm still learning every day as I go. When I work with this one person, I learn that. And every day we learn something new and something better in a different way and different outlook. So I'm really excited about this part of my coaching career.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we can feel all this your excitement, and it's
Oh,
contagious. It's beautiful. And it's
thank you.
wonderful that you touch this age of woman out there, because we don't see a lot of programs or anything just specifically for this kind of generation. So this is wonderful that you're touching this generation. That's beautiful.
It's interesting because it honestly, I know it sounds like a lot of woo, but when I get all excited about this, it's like my hair starts tingling. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
that I'm doing the thing because this is so important. Women need to have this. The women need to hear this. And if we as a group become stronger, more confident, bolder women, it affects our surrounding people. It affects our
Mhm.
daughters and our granddaughters, and sometimes the
Mhm.
great granddaughters, daughters-in-law. I mean, all of these people, these women are seeing that, oh, you don't have to go sit down. You don't have to become invisible. You can continue and move on. So
Mhm.
that's me.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you mentioned something about the legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's how
Mhm.
you live today. This is very beautiful. I love what you said. So how do you help women shift from the mindset of waiting to one intentional action?
Well, that's the heartbeat right there, right? So many in the last third of their life, they're just sitting there waiting for something to happen. And it's sad, you know? They're waiting for more time. They're waiting for more clarity. They're waiting for a better number on the scale. The perfect moment, the right conditions. We're always waiting for those things, And, but you know what? That waiting, what it turns into is a full-time job, and you don't get paid for it. So it's just something that lives in your head, and you are doing this full time, this worrying. So at some point, you have to ask yourself, what am I waiting for? And more importantly, what is this costing me?
Mhm.
I'm in the last third here. It's not like we're 20 and we have the rest of our lives. We're in the last third. So we have, a finite number of days left. We don't know what it is. And hopefully we all live till, we've accomplished everything we want. But, we have to do that here. So that's where I come in. When I work with women, one of the first things I do is to help them realize that their legacy isn't some grand moment that happens, after you're gone. It's not like, oh, she was the best this or she did that. It's not about that. Your legacy is how you show up today. Live
Mhm.
your legacy, right? So
Mhm.
it's in your food choices, it's in your boundaries, and it's in the energy you bring into a room or a Zoom call. or a
Mhm.
quiet afternoon on your own backlanai, which here in Hawaii is our porch, our deck. Um, so you want to remember that legacy is now, right? But to get there, we have to untangle years and even decades of internalized messaging, all the things that we were told, all the things, good women put everyone else first, right? If you're a good woman, you put people first. And we're taught that to rest is to be lazy. That is the most insane thing, right? I mean, we all need rest. Why is it being lazy if you have to go take a rest? That's okay.
Mhm.
And then a big one too is food. Food we use as either a reward or punishment. We have
Mhm.
that we don't get it, or we have to eat this and we don't want to eat that. You know, and probably the worst one for me when I realized this was that it's people think that you're too late. It's too late to reinvent, or you're too selfish to take up that space. I mean, how horrible, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
so, not for people that I can work with anyways.
Mhm.
Not, I don't want any woman, you hear me, it is not too late. That's the probably one of the big things I want people to take away with, right? So
Mhm.
I use mindset coaching. I use wellness tools. And we use just good old honest conversation, to help women see themselves again. Who are you, And I remind that they are allowed and expected to be the leading lady of their own life.
Mhm.
That to-do list will never be done, but their energy is not a renewable resource unless they treat it like one. And that's really big. So we don't dive into action packed things right away. It's not like we don't set up the whole to-do list and, here's your legacy and these are the steps to go take it and let's go running through that. Because first we have to build awareness, right? What is it that you want to do? And sometimes women don't know what they want to do. And so we go through a series of things to kind of figure out that. So we'll ask like, what are you craving? What do you feel like you're really missing in your life? Or what's zapping your energy? What are you doing that you don't want to do anymore? It's just you do it because you said you would do it. I mean, I met somebody that, they show up and they're always asked to give the cookies, bake cookies for their church. They don't want to do it anymore. That was something they did, but now it's like, I don't want to do it anymore, but it's expected. So they keep doing it. And that's where boundaries come in, right?
Mhm.
And then and what beliefs are quietly running in the background of your brain? What did people say? What do you think? How were you brought up? How did your parents, moms, aunts, things like that, how did they react to things like that, and how did they do it? Because that's where we get a lot of what we do now. If you look at who we are today, you can look backwards and see pretty much, unless we've been able to do a lot of the change.
Mhm. Mhm.
um but so we start layering in small doable actions, not a total life overhaul because they never work anyways. I mean, you go, and I'm going to the gym and I'm going to you know start working out 3 days a week on this,
Mhm.
legs, arms, and this, and then the other 2 days I'm doing this. Most people are done in a couple weeks. They just can't keep up with it because they didn't gradually get into things. So
Mhm.
we do it that way. And then we do kind of just like one intentional decision at a time. What is it? Let's make a decision, because every time you do something, whether you pick to walk left or walk right, it's a decision. We don't always think about them as decisions, but they
Mhm.
are. Everything you do, every moment of the day. Do I drink the coffee? Do I make the tea? Do I take a walk or do I go eat the pie? They're all
Mhm.
decisions that we make every single day. And so we want those to be decisions that are intentional. Think about what you're doing. How is it that you want to eat? How is it that you want to do your exercise? How is it that you want to show up every day? Do you want to show up, kind of attitude, somewhere between meh and I don't want to be here, I don't want to do that, so you make everybody miserable? Or just show up and just be, I'm here, this is what I want to do, and we're doing it.
Mhm.
um, so we just want women to show up who they are and to be aligned with who they are now and who they want to be, as opposed to how someone else wants them to be. And there's nothing worse than living to someone else's expectations, right?
Mhm.
So so here's the secret, I guess. Once a woman starts living like she matters, she lives like her voice, her joy, and her health, those are legacy level things. She gets unstuck really fast. She
Mhm.
starts realizing what it is she wants to do, because she's just taken small things for herself. When you just carve out little bits of time for yourself, your you starts coming out. It's like it's breaking the shell, that's
Mhm.
around you. So, because it turns out that most of us are not unmotivated. we're just exhausted from the life that we've had to live out of alignment of what we want to be, of what who we truly are, I guess. So I help the women. I ask them to, we get to reset and we ask, if I want to feel more alive, what gets me there? And then we
Mhm.
work on that. It's not I ask the question, they go, I don't know, we move on. I mean, this is a deep question. I mean, think about it. If I want to live more alive, what gets me there? That's a big subject.
Mhm.
And so then when we get there, then we make a plan and we follow it, but with grace and not guilt. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not, if you say you wanted to eat a healthy breakfast 3 times a week, but you only got one in last week, you know what? What you're going to hear from me is, yay, you got one in. That's one more than you
Mhm.
had the week before, right? Not,
Mhm.
what is wrong with you? Why did you not get all three? You said you were going to do, I mean, shaming people, right? And it doesn't help anybody. So that I don't believe in that at all. So I'm going to be your biggest fan, your biggest cheerleader here, helping you see that even gradual steps are forward motion,
Mhm.
and that's a good thing. So, I want women to realize that intentional action isn't the hustle, it's the alignment with what matters. And once a woman claims that, there's nothing stopping her.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's awesome. So you have a background in nonprofit leadership and plant-based wellness, correct? Right.
Yes.
So how does that influence your holistic approach to coaching?
Well, it's interesting that you would think that on paper they don't look anything alike, right? Why would one have anything to do with the other? But it's like I think everybody's life, if you look at the through line through all the jobs you've had, through all the different things, there's something there that kept you there or made you interested in that thing. So what I've done is completely, to me, in my coaching, they're completely intertwined, right? Because they have to be, they both show up. So I spent years in nonprofit leadership, working with the local food bank here and a lot of different community organizations when I lived on the mainland. And I saw how women were just really highly affected by what was going on with food and things like that. They were, the caregiving, or they were over caregiving, to keep their families going, and that they were running on fumes. And that's the part that's like, oh, okay, what's going on here? So because they were showing up for everyone else and not for themselves. So I started diving into, with myself, how did my wellness journey, pair up with that? And so because before I had started struggling with, energy, we get older and we think all these things are normal, and they're not normal. I think that's probably one of the biggest things we want to know, right? It's not
Mhm.
normal to feel tired all the time, for your body
Mhm.
to ache all the time, to have stomach problems. It's not normal. It's just, we think it's normal, but now we know a better way. So I had to change up how I was eating, and that's how I came to whole food plant-based eating, because it doesn't just fit, check with you on the physicality part of it, right? It helps you emotionally and energetically. So you have more time, your brain's working better. You don't have all these other things just kind of weighing you down.
Mhm.
So it got to the point where I couldn't not share it anymore. It wasn't just something that was working for me. I wanted to make sure everybody knew it. So that, and kind of keeping things with the food bank, what I was learning there, kind of had to do it all in the same, and make sure that everybody knew what I was trying to do and why I was trying to do, why it was important. Because I see the big picture, how our systems, internal, external, they either support or they drain us. Whatever we're doing, it's one or the other. I understand how to hold space for people in transition, because I've learned through leading teams that, that can be a tough change for people to do something different. I know how to guide women with compassion, clarity, and sometimes they get a gentle little kick in the butt, because that's what they need. I mean, it's never a hard force thing, but it's sometimes we all need that little, just do it, just go do it.
Mhm.
So my coaching is holistic, because I think that's how life works. You can't talk about mindset with looking at what you're eating. You can't talk about energy without talking about boundaries. And you can't plan your next chapter without unhooking from all those old stories that say you're too old, you're too tired, you're too late. And I think honestly that being a nonprofit leader made me strategic. Being a wellness coach made me deeply intuitive. And when you combine the two, I think you get somebody who can help you design a legacy that feels good,
Mhm.
You find you feeling good, not just looking good from the outside. This
Mhm.
work is about nourishment, alignment, and action, and not just kale and bubble baths, although I'm not anti-bubble baths. Those are good, right? But it's about putting systems in place that support your wellness, your purpose, and your joy in the long run. Because legacy doesn't just need heart, it needs a framework, and I
Mhm.
can bring both to that.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. So, how do you talk about aligning mind, body, and spirit
Mm.
without gimmicks or toxic positivity? So, can you elaborate a little bit of that on that? So, what's toxic positivity, and what are some common just the wellness myths that you help women unlearn?
Yeah. The wellness world especially is full of myths, right? They sound good on Instagram, they fall apart in real life, especially women in the last third. So what happens is that many of these wellness plans are written by 26-year-olds who never lived a day in perimenopause, a menopausal body. It's like they have no idea.
Mhm.
They are doing great. They're doing their own thing, and that's great. But it's like, okay, once you get to this side, it's a little different. You're like I was saying, your body is never going to be that 20-year-old body again. Mind, body, spirit. I mean, your mind, you're much smarter. You have more wisdom than you did at 20 years old, hopefully.
Mhm.
And your body changes, and your hair color changes, and things like that. So, but one of the first myths I help women unlearn is that wellness means being thin, right? That's not what wellness is. It means being well, having energy, feeling strong in your body, and trusting your gut, being present in your life. You can't measure that with a scale or a dress size. Those are all things that you need to have. And so you need to measure how you show up for yourself and how you feel in your body, not what
Mhm.
it looks like in a filtered selfie, right? So the next one would be, if I just try harder, I'll finally get it together. That's not how life works either, right? Let me say to you, you are not a self-improvement project. That's probably a main thing here, is because women aren't broken machines that need to
Mhm.
be fixed. We've been conditioned to hustle, overgive, and push through, because if we don't, then everything will fall apart, and we pull that weight on ourselves. And what happens is we're exhausted and resentful, and then we're like, well, how did I get here? Why am I this person? I don't want to be this. That's not who I was.
Mhm.
So the truth is, healing comes from listening to your body, not punishing it. So another big one is, positivity will fix everything. Just slap a smile on your face and everything will be great, right? Just no, we don't bypass pain here. I don't coach women to do that, slap the smiley face sticker on. Because if you're feeling trauma, you should feel the trauma. If you're feeling hurt or pain or whatever it is, feel it. Don't just like slap the
Mhm.
smiley face on. I don't
Mhm.
like that at all. I think it's really harmful to tell women to do that, because the truth is you can be grateful and struggling. There are things in your life that you can be grateful for,
Mhm.
and there'll be things in your life that you wish weren't there.
So true.
Um,
Mhm.
you can be growing and grieving at the same time, and that's not negative, it's human. So I help women develop resilience and not denial, because there's a
Mhm.
big difference there in those two. And
Mhm.
also, it's not too late to change. Oh, please. I've watched women in their 60s, 70s, beyond, completely transform who they are, how they eat, how they move, and how they speak up for themselves, right?
Mhm.
How they show up in their lives. So if you're breathing, it's not too late, period. And finally, wellness is something you buy.
Mhm.
Wellness is not hiding in the next expensive supplement, the detox kit, or the gadget. It's in your daily habits, it's in your food, and it's how you rest, how you breathe, how you surround yourself, and who you're with, and who you speak to, and how you speak to yourself. I mean, women say the most horrible things to themselves that they would never say to their own worst enemy.
Mhm.
And we say these things and we accept them as truth. And it's like, no, 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 we got to stop those. So in my coaching, I get rid of the noise and we come back to the truth. Your mind, your body, and your spirit are always communicating with you. We need to listen, because when we align those without shame, without gimmicks or gold star perfectionism, real change happens, and it's sustainable and powerful, and it's rooted change. It really will help you move forward in your life, because you're not here to be good. You're here to be alive.
Oh, love that. I love it. So for those women who tuning in, who feel stuck or burnt out, what is the one simple yet powerful action they can take this week to start living like their legacy depends on it?
Okay, here's the trick. And it is simple. And I beg you all to please try and do this week. Please take it as a challenge, take it as a an answer to my begging, however you want to do it and however you want to show it up. Put yourself on your own calendar in pen, not pencil. So I know it sounds simple, but hear me out. Most women I work with have everybody else's needs on their calendar, right? Kids'
Mhm.
schedules, doctor's appointments. I got to show up for this, this, whatever it is. Everything is on there. But when was the last time you put you time on the calendar? Um, so it's when you do this, when I ask you to do this, you want to make sure that you're living your life, and this is how you will get there. It's you look at somebody's calendar, you see all the things that like we are just talking about, and even the colonoscopies are on there, but you don't see, oh, here's time for Donna, here's time for whatever. So it's like you just look at it, and it's like it's crickets out there for the woman herself. So this week I want you to choose one thing that fills you up, that makes you feel alive, that gives you joy, that makes you feel rested, whatever that thing is. And I want you to write it down, block out the time on your calendar, and then this part's the most important part: honor it. Don't push it off. Don't let somebody reschedule it. Somebody else's, barring, something horrible happening. That is the time it's on your calendar, and please honor it. If it's, I want to go sit on the front porch without my phone dinging at me and sit and have my tea in the morning, put it on your calendar, put it in there, and at least once. And what you'll get, it'll be like, oh my God, this was the best thing ever. Just, even if it's 20 minutes of just being me, what I want to do when I want to do it, and just no one else is at you. Even the animals aren't begging for food. You know what I mean? They're not. It's like, husbands have gone to do what they've gone to work, or they've, they're in the other room or golfing or whatever, and the kids are doing whatever, wherever you are in your life. Let people just be, and claim that 20 minutes. So, it could be, like I said, your tea, maybe you go to the beach and go for a swim. Journaling, even journaling for 15, 20 minutes, just writing down your thoughts. It doesn't have to be important stuff. When I first started journaling, that was really hard for me. I thought it was supposed to be like, oh, well-written grammar pages that you would turn into your, senior high English teacher, and it took some of that perfectionism in me to swipe that away and just say, no, this is stream of consciousness. Just write what comes out. And sometimes you
Mhm.
look back and you're like, whoa, I didn't even know I was thinking that. Um, so it really doesn't matter what it is, what makes you feel important, what makes you give you time and lights you up a little bit. But please, please, please put it on your calendar in ink and follow that. Because here's the truth: your legacy isn't made up of the big grand moment. It's built in the tiny, repeated decisions that say, I matter. Because every time you show up for yourself, you rewrite the story. You shift from the default mode to intentional living. And that shift, that's where your legacy lives. So listen, I'm not telling you to flip your whole life upside down this week. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do that. But I'm asking you just to take that one bold, beautiful, unapologetic step toward yourself, because you are not here to run on empty until further notice. You're here to live and lead and feel alive, and you want to start it now. So block that time and keep the date. Show up, because your legacy is watching.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. This is amazing. I'm sure a lot of our participants get a lot of out of this.
I
And
hope
thank you
so.
so much. I learned something too. So
Um,
I'm definitely gonna put myself on the calendar. So that's
Good.
all we all missing that part. So we definitely put ourselves out there and stretch ourselves pretty thin in our lives.
Mhm.
Giving, 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 giving. So sometimes we just need to put that little time. Even for me, it would be probably early in the morning before everybody wakes up.
Right.
Yes,
It doesn't
that's
matter the time. It can fit into your schedule. It absolutely can. But the thing is, it's not, sometimes you need to put yourself on the schedule. you always need to put yourself on the schedule.
Hmm.
Once you do it the first time, you get a little more bold and you get a little more strong and confident. And it's like, okay, world didn't come to an end. Everybody still got up when they were supposed to, went to bed when they were supposed to, got to all their rides. I did all those things. I can take 15 to 20 minutes for myself, and
Hmm.
then you start doing it daily. And then maybe you find another time in the day to do something else. So it's a building block that you will really find that you will grow as a person, and your person becomes alive. And that's what it is. That's what we're hoping for, right?
Yes, we all want that. So we want to get to that vital, vibrant
Mhm.
self. Yes, we only have so many years in our lives, so we want to live it fully. Thank you so much for bringing this beautiful podcast to us. Thank you for answering our questions, Donna. And we just wanted to see, so our listeners probably will be curious to see where we can locate you, how they can get in touch with you. So would you give us your information?
Sure. You can reach me at my website, which is 360balancedliving.com. And there's ways there to reach me by my email. You can, Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Or you can get on my calendar if you'd like to just kind of talk and see, if this would work for you, how it would work, because I want to be super clear that no one is coming to save you from your schedule, your burnout, your self-doubt. No one's coming for you. You have to do it yourself. So we
Mhm.
want to make sure that you matter. So please, if this would help you, if you think this is a great thing for you and you want to do it, jump on my calendar. We'll have a free call. It, won't cost you a dime.
Mhm.
Just get on there and make sure that you do this, because my mission, like I said, is to have all women feel good in their skin. So let's see how we can do that for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Donna.
Sure.
So, and Donna will have a free gift attached to a letter email that we're gonna send out to you guys with this recording. So just look out for that. And well, thank you so much again, Donna, and have a beautiful day in Kauai. So, which is my dream place. I put my board behind me as well. So I'm trying to manifest that as well.
Well, I've got the islands here, so you can pick from one there.
So you have a beautiful day there, and
Thanks so much for
thank
having
you
me.
so
I
much for
really
taking
enjoyed it.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.